What's going on, fellas? I'm Jordan from Duck Gun Chronicles, and it's time for another weekly migration report. I'm out here this morning, and it's in the single digits for real fill, and going around doing the scouting and trying to get on some birds for later this week. Just kind of backtrack into last week. Colder weather rolled in. We had some ice up on Saturday, and from there it really isolated the birds in a few locations, and then it thawed out again. So that's one thing to watch out for depending on where you're at, as far as north and south and temperature wise. It gets really hard to pattern the birds when you get it icing up and thawing out, because they're going to be inconsistent, and you can go one day and it'd be money, and the next day there'd be nothing. So that's definitely one thing to watch out for. But going into next week, at least in my area, it's going to be getting down to about 20 every night for the foreseeable future, which means that lockup's going to stay that way. It's going to start freezing, and it's not going to have time to de-thaw. And so, you know, get out there, check out your rivers, check out your creeks, and even your ditches in between fields. Be looking for places where the birds are going to have open water to go back to, and you'll be money. So, you know, that's all we got for the migration report this week. With the weather like this, you know, we're going to be seeing more and more birds coming down south. And so if I had to give the rating of the migration this week, it's going to be hot. So get out there, get your scouting, find your spots, and hopefully get on some birds. I'm Jordan from Duck Gun Chronicles, and we'll see you next week with another migration report.
Hello, welcome back to another migration report from somewhere in Wisconsin. Check us out on YouTube if you haven't yet. Our channel is Somewhere in Wisconsin. Migration report this week. There are a bunch of geese showing up around the area that I live in southeastern Wisconsin. If you can find that roost, you can probably find the birds, and you can probably find the feed after that. They're loaded in to the roosts where there's some open water, some areas that they can sit on. Those geese, I saw a ton of geese tonight on the way home from work, and they're definitely in the area. Good numbers in the area, at least in my part of the state in southeastern Wisconsin. We got out for a hunt last Friday. It was pretty sweet. Friday afternoon there was a lot of birds moving. Saturday and Sunday were a lot slower out on the river. I shot a limit of mallards on Friday, a teal and a goose, and my dad shot 3 mallards that day as well. So we had an awesome hunt. Here's a preview of that video right here. And guys, we'll see you next week on the Migration Report.
Hey everybody, I am Elliot from Freelance Duck Hunting, and this is my third migration report for Duck Gun Chronicles. And we had that huge cold front come in that you guys are probably aware of. It pushed a bunch of birds into the area. We had great hunts on both Saturday and Sunday. I'm really not sure what's going on right now with the birds, because we've had even colder weather. All the marshes are iced up, and I think the birds have pretty much moved to bigger water. I'm putting in a big scout actually tomorrow, but I'm not really sure how the hunting is going to be from here on out. I think you're just going to have to find the birds and get on them. But there is certainly a lot of birds around. But, you know, when you're in that phase of some ice and then thawing over the next few days, it's hard to pattern them without scouting. So if you're going to be scouting the Midwest, I would certainly say, or if you're going to be hunting the Midwest, I would certainly say get out and scout and find them, because there's lots of birds around. It's just a matter of finding where they are and getting on them. So thanks again, and I'll see you next week.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another migration report for the great state of Nebraska. So I hunted all across the state this past weekend. I hunted western Nebraska, I hunted eastern Nebraska. I drove from western to eastern Nebraska, so I was able to pretty much drive along the whole Platte River Valley, which covers the whole state of Nebraska, and got a really good feel for the migration. And it's pretty obvious. The birds are here. We got the cold front, got the first really big push of the season. The Canada geese, the snows, the specks, the mallards, they all showed up in droves. And if you weren't out this past weekend, you missed out, guys. But they're still around. Don't worry, they're still around. I'm sure some pushed down to the south. But even today, I heard some reports that people saw them coming back north. There's not like they were pushing south last week, but a few flocks headed north. You know, it makes sense. The weather pattern now, it's been 60 here the last 2 days. It's supposed to be 60 again tomorrow. 50s on Friday, and then we get a little bit of snow this weekend, and then it kind of levels off next week. No real precipitation that they're predicting yet, and highs in the 40s and 50s. So pretty good weather to keep the birds around here, not push them out. They're not gonna get their food sources covered. They're not gonna have their water freeze up on them. So should be pretty good hunting the next couple weeks until we really get those cold temperatures and it really caps stuff up. The birds are definitely here, and if you're in the Central Flyway, guys, if they're not there yet, they're going to be coming shortly. That's the migration report for this week for the state of Nebraska, and we'll see you next week, guys.
Hey everybody, this is Zach with the Iowa Plainsman Outdoors. Big shout out to Jordan from the Duck Gun Chronicles for putting this migration report together. I just wanted to kind of give my 2 cents worth on what I'm seeing this week. I just got back from a hunt. Today's November 12th. We had north-northwest winds today at about 15 miles an hour. Today was the only day that I've hunted this weekend. We've had a big cold snap this week, so we've had temperatures in the teens and 20s, which is pretty cold for this time of year. You know, early-ish November. It's a little colder than normal. So we went out today. We definitely are starting to see some ice in some of the shallow, still water areas. A lot of the big water is still open, no problem. We didn't shoot any ducks today. But today was interesting because I saw possibly more ducks than I've ever seen before. Our setup, we're hunting some floodplain, going in the dark, trying to set up. We probably just weren't really on the X today, but there were a lot of ducks around. We saw tons of mallards. We saw teal, divers as well. So here in central Iowa, the migration is definitely on. We're starting to see some traveling birds for sure. Dealing with the unusually high waters in some areas has been a struggle, but either way, doesn't stop us from getting out. If you want to check out my content, it's a little different. I consider myself kind of a waterfowl hunter in development. I'm always looking for an adventure maybe more than a limit. Check me out at Iowa Plainsman Outdoors. I post all my hunts. I post fishing videos too. I do a lot of fishing, deer hunting, turkey hunting when I do it, as well as all my waterfowl hunts. So check me out, Iowa Plainsman Outdoors on YouTube. Again, big shout out to Jordan Frommer from the Duck Gun Chronicles for putting this together.
Hey, what's up guys? We're really happy to be part of the migration report for Jordan and Duck Gun Chronicles. We're out today, actually picked up right now after all day hunt with all boat outfitters, Josh and Jibs. Man, they really put on some good hunts.
All bowed up, they're on Facebook.
So happy to be there. We killed 4 mallards today and our first honk for the year, so that was pretty exciting.
So what we saw today, we saw quite a bit of geese that were migrating, probably a couple thousand. We did see some ducks, but for the majority of the ducks, I'd say they were local today, or they've been here at least for a little while. So as far as migrating ducks today, there might have been a little bit, but might have missed some too. But yeah, I'd say at least a couple thousand honkers going through.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of, we're hunting the Missouri Saturday. There's a lot of mallards on the river, so we're really hoping that the heat up happens so they stay here instead of migrating all the way down. But thanks again. Check our channel out, BRH Outdoors, or our Instagram, Bigger Hunters, and thanks again for having us on, guys.
And check out All Boat Up on Facebook.
Alrighty fellas, that is all we got this week for the migration report. You heard it, birds are on the move. The migration is here, and birds are pretty much in everybody's state. Things are looking up, things are looking great. But don't take it from us. Make sure to get out there and do your own scouting. And guys,
life is short and hunting season's even shorter, so you gotta get on them while you can. Let us know down in the comments below what the birds are doing in your area. I appreciate everybody who's been doing that, and that's all we got for this week, and we'll see you guys next week for another migration report.